All right, today we're going to go over 5 reasons to not move to Tuscaloosa. I'm Phil Duke Jr. with First Class Real Estate. This is my friend Dan Cook with Mortgage Right. If you are watching this video, you're probably thinking about moving here. If you need some help, would love to hop on a video chat with you. He can do your loan. We can find you a house. We've been living here both a very, very long time, and even if you decide not to use us, we would love to just chat with you and answer any questions you might have. So 5 reasons to not move to Tuscaloosa. Okay, these are just going to depend on you as a person. Number 1 is the weather. The weather here is usually fairly hot. Some people might even call it tropical. But it gets really hot, really humid.
Very humid. You're gonna stick together.
Yeah, very humid. You will sweat from the time you walk to your car to the time you walk to the grocery store. From your grocery store to your car, you will probably be sweaty. So be ready for that. We also do have tornadoes here. We have a tornado season that really could happen any time of the year. You do your research. We are in an area that frequently has tornadoes, but I've been living here since '96. You've been here since 2002. There's really only been a couple of them that actually, did substantial damage. We had one in 2011 that came through that really tore up a lot of the town, and some people did die. But most of the tornadoes here are not that big of a deal. As long as you are watching the weather and you know where to go, you're probably going to be good. But if you don't like severe weather, you don't like thunderstorms, you don't like rain, probably
even snow. There was one time this year it was 86 degrees. That afternoon, that next morning, there was a light dusting on the ground. It's wild here.
Yeah, you literally, in the winter time, we don't really have true winter here. I mean, it might get cold for a day or two. But you literally can go from having the air conditioner on in your house one day to having snow on the ground the next day. It just happens. So if you don't like, rain, thunderstorms, hot, humid weather, probably not the best place for you. But if you do, if you like doing stuff outside, if you like swimming, whether that's in a pool, in a river, in a lake, then Tuscaloosa probably would be a good place for it. But just know that the weather can be crazy here and it can change quickly. So you got to be weather aware. You got to watch your weatherman. You'll learn about a guy named James Spann, who is everybody's favorite weatherman. And as long as you are plugged into him on your phone through Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, he'll let you know where the tornado is, who needs to go to shelter and who doesn't. And it's really not that big of a deal once you've lived here for a little bit. So it kind of sounds crazy us talking. Yeah.
He's truly iconic. I mean, he is one of those things that is just a staple of Alabama.
Yeah, he can tell you every restaurant, every supermarket, every intersection. He just knows it. So weather, number 1. Number 2 is the traffic. Now, traffic that's here right now is worse than it was than when we were growing up, right?
Yes.
But compared to the rest of the country, it's still not extreme traffic. Like, you're not going to be sitting in traffic for 2 hours. But during rush hour, so in the mornings when people are going to work, going to school, when people are driving home for the day, the roadways here are just not really the best for that amount of traffic on the road. So you just got to prepare. You're going to have to leave your house a little bit early. But for the most part, it's not that big of a deal. But another thing here you need to be aware of when it comes to traffic, people here don't know how to drive. All right? They probably don't know how to drive where you're from either, but it can be frustrating for us here. So what are your thoughts on the traffic?
Okay, so we do have we have ongoing construction in many different locations. Obviously that's not permanent, but it feels permanent and has taken quite longer than what they expect. One project leads to the next project, and it continues. Traffic's not as bad as in big cities and everything, but I would say you can get from one point in Tuscaloosa to the next within 30 minutes. It's not terrible. But there are points of when students are in town versus when the students are out of town where everything changes. Certainly on game days, now it will probably compare to some of the very, very large cities. We get a massive influx of people on game days, and so take whatever plans you had to get somewhere, multiply it by 4, and that's going to be the results from game days for sure.
Yeah, but that's like 7 weekends out of the year, and really it's only really crowded like normally after the games. Normally it's really not that bad going to the games most time, because people come in early, people tailgate, people rent houses and condos and get hotel rooms here, so they're normally in town well before the game starts. But getting home after the game, you'll see some traffic, but they've got it down pretty good. I mean, they get the tons of police officers out there directing traffic. They close down roadways, so it's really not terrible. But traffic is something just to be aware of. Number 3 on the list, Tuscaloosa is a big, small town. And you might not like being in a big, small town. What we mean by that is if you've lived here for a little while, there's only so many restaurants to go to. Now, it's gotten a whole lot better.
It is.
A whole lot better than what it used to be. We've got a lot of new developments in Tuscaloosa. The university has more than doubled in size since the man himself, Coach Saban, took the job here. They've more than doubled the number of students here, which has led to a lot more restaurants, a lot more shopping. But it's a big, small town. And what I mean by that is, like, for us that live here and have lived here for a little while, I can't go anywhere in town without seeing somebody that I know, somebody that I went to high school with, somebody I used to go to church with. And it drives my wife crazy because she's not from here. She's like, everywhere you go, you see somebody you know. I personally like that, but some people don't. There's also, I go to bed early, so I'm probably not the best person to speak on nightlife here. But if you're looking
for it.
Yeah, but if you're looking for nightlife, maybe not the best town for you. But I can let you talk more about that.
Nightlife is really geared toward more college students. Now, you've got the University of the Strip there. That's pretty university oriented. If you go downtown, you get a little bit of an older crowd, but there's not a great diversity in it. It's there's not the working class bars or different types. It's pretty much all just little sports bars.
Yeah, and it's a lot of cover bands playing the same songs, like
Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, you're gonna hear Sweet Home Alabama. You're probably gonna hear Free Fallin'. You're gonna hear the same stuff by all of them for the most part. But we also have the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater, which is only a few years old. And a lot of the big musicians, the big musical acts, actually come through Tuscaloosa now. And so a lot of times there are concerts down there on Thursday night, Friday night. In the summer times here, there's free concerts in downtown Tuscaloosa at the Government Plaza that the city of Tuscaloosa puts on. So there's a good mix of family-friendly and nightlife and all that kind of stuff. But if you're looking for a big-time party scene, unless you want to go party with college kids, this might not be the town for you. But it is a big, small town. I like that. Some people don't like that, though. Some people want to be somewhere bigger where there's a lot more stuff, a lot more shopping, a lot more restaurants. But I would say we've got a pretty good blend here, and it's a good blend between a big town and a small town. So, number 4, the 4th reason to not move to Tuscaloosa, Alabama is the University of Alabama. Okay? It is the biggest employer in town. If you're watching this video, you're probably aware that the University of Alabama is here. You probably know, about the success that the athletics program has had, not just football, but basketball lately.
Softball's been very strong.
Softball, gymnastics, wheelchair basketball. I think they're actually like national champions a couple times. Swimming is here, track and field. There's just a lot of stuff going on at the university, but it is a college town. So there's going to be a lot of college kids here. There's going to be a lot of parents who come in town to visit their kids. There will be times of the year where traffic's a little bit more, where it's a little bit harder to get into a restaurant. It's going to be a little bit longer of a wait time. But if you don't like that kind of stuff, you can literally live 5 to 10 miles away from campus, and you would pretty much not even know that it was here. I know where I live, on the Northport side of town, across the river. That's where a lot of the families live, and they want to be close enough to the university that we can go down to a football game, but we want to be far enough away that we're not dealing with some of the headaches that come from being in a college town. So, what are your thoughts on living in a college town?
Oh, it's it's a double-edged sword. It truly is. Having such a great boost to the economy, providing jobs for everything, it's great. But it will also cause some congestion in certain places, and occasionally some businesses collide with the university, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. So you just got to know it's here. It could be a positive or a negative for you, but you could get as involved or be as uninvolved with it if you wanted to as well. I very rarely go near campus because I live and work across the river on the Northport side, and I'm like a 15 or 20 minute drive over there if I want to go. The last thing on the list, number 5 on our list, is the fact that we don't have an international airport. Now, we do have an airport in Tuscaloosa, but it's like private flights, charter flights. We don't, at the time we're recording this video, we don't have commercial flights going in and out of Tuscaloosa. We have in the past. I'm not sure what the regulations are, but the city of Tuscaloosa is working right now to, I believe they have to extend the runway. I believe there's some safety things that they have to do so that we hopefully can, one day in the near future have commercial flights that leave out of here and connect to the bigger airports like Atlanta or Dallas or Nashville, where you could connect to go anywhere in the world. But as of right now, if you're looking to fly anywhere commercially, unless you're watching this and you've got your own, private jet or a Cessna or whatever you might have, if you're looking for somewhere to fly, you're going to have to fly in and out of Birmingham, Alabama, which is only about 45 minutes to an hour of a drive. It's not a bad drive at all. And it's actually a really good little airport. They are pretty efficient. They've totally renovated it the last couple of years. It's a very, very easy airport to get in and get out of. So it's not that big of a deal, but it is somewhat of an inconvenience. But there are also shuttle services in Tuscaloosa that can pick you up and take you to the airport if you don't want to drive back and forth. I do it pretty routinely. I just go and I park, and I pay per day to park my vehicle there, and then I don't have to wait on somebody to pick me up. But that's one negative. So were you here when we had commercial flights?
Maybe I was. If I was, I never heard about
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's been a little while since we've had commercial flights going out of here, but they're working on it. I mean, we do have an airport here. There are big planes that come in out of there. When the football team flies out, they fly out on a big Delta jet, so we know the runway is good enough to have those kind of big airliners in here. But for whatever reason, they just aren't approved to have like big commercial flights coming in out of here right now. But they're working on it. So, any last thoughts? Probably a couple more on the list. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. There's going to be a link below in the description where you can click and hop on a video chat with either of us. Would love to hear your comments, your questions. We monitor this channel, and we will personally respond to every comment that gets posted below. So comment below, subscribe, connect with us on a video chat, and check out some of the other videos we have. We're constantly putting out new content about what it's like to live and work in the Tuscaloosa area. We'll see you next time.